Buying a home in California, the entire process. Hi, I'm Amol Heda with Keller Williams Bay Area Estates and author of Thriving Through Ownership. So today we are going to discuss the entire process of buying a home in California from start to finish. The first thing that happens is you think and figure out that you want to buy a home or an investment property, and that's where your journey starts. Typically, most people start thinking that, oh, my friend bought a home, somebody bought a home, and we keep seeing these instances and decide to buy a home. So, the first and foremost thing in buying a home is to size yourself up. And I deal with it very differently as compared to most other people's approach in home buying. My recommendation is that you first visit and work with a very professional realtor who will give you the ins of what exactly a home means, what exactly should they be focusing on, what is it that you want to get out of the house. Apart from being an investment, apart from being the place where you live, the biggest thing about a home is it gives you happiness. It gives you the means to enjoy your surroundings and the people around you, the scenic scenes, meaning if it is on a mountain, then you get view of the hills or around the hills or of the entire city, the view of the lights and everything. So you first need to figure out what exactly is it that you're looking for when buying a home. At the same time, it's extremely important to find out what exactly is the budget. And here is a small cheat. It's very easy to figure out the budget. Follow the friends that you know have recently bought their homes and see what kind of a number these friends have bought. You can certainly go work with me with my online calculator, https://myhouser.com. I'll put that link here. This calculator gives you the best way to analyze the home ownership design and numbers. Now, why am I not asking you to go to a lender and first start jumping and working with a lender? The reason I don't ask you to jump with a lender is when you go to a lender, the lender has to first pull your credit score. I bet each one of us has access to all the 3 credit bureaus, and you can get your credit score so that you at least have a preliminary idea. I'm not saying this with this information you're going and writing an offer. I'm not saying with this information you'll be able to buy a property. No, but we are way away from buying a home, and because we are that far away, in the process of coming down to this place where we actually buy the home, we need to just know the design and how someone has put it together. And that's what I'm suggesting. So you need to be able to first size your home purchase. Then once you have done that, yourself go and scout some of the open houses, some of the listings that you see around you. Just walk into these and figure out what makes you feel comfortable, what will be your big criteria. But it will be best to approach a professional to understand your home ownership design, because that includes income, your schools, your commute, your long-term needs, emphasis on your lifestyle, and everything. If you think you can think of all this without the help of a professional, think again. Ask that question to yourself. I think that is a good place to start. Fine? Now, then let's get into the process of buying a home. So once you've started scouting, once you know what you want, it'll give you a very good sizing of what you hate versus what you love. And then there is the price, there is the lifestyle, the trade-offs that you're willing to make, and the things that you just cannot give up. So all of these will come. Once you have done that much scouting, talk to a professional realtor and gotten your number, understand and sign up with an agent who you can trust. You have to be able to trust your agent. It's a big deal. Why? Because if you don't trust the agent and you take 1 year to start trusting your agent's advice, you are probably going to lose 1 year's worth of appreciation by not buying the house, by not being able to live your dream, and by not being able to get into something that you want to cherish and care for. So, if you cannot trust your doctor, will you ever be doing your surgery? No. So, the same way, it's very important that you check in with a trusted real estate professional. And that's key. Once that's done, they will connect you. My process is to first start showing properties so that me and you get a calibration of what you like. I'll understand what you like, and you will understand how you should look at the right kind of property. Because it's very important to educate you about the type of property. And then once you are ready, I want to write an offer on that property, that's when I typically send my clients for a pre-approval. Because I give you the sizing tools upfront in your own hands by helping you doing a home ownership analysis. And once that's done, then we go to the sizing piece with the lender. When the lender gives you a pre-approval, they typically say valid for only 90 days. And after that, you again have to pull the next pre-approval. Do you think that's going to help? Because each time you pull your pre-approval, you get a credit score ding. I don't know how much it is. It's perhaps 8 to 15 points depending on what you're shopping for. But that's the next step. That you'll have to keep getting a pre-approval. If you're undecided, it keeps dropping your credit score. And every drop in credit score means you will get a ding on the interest rate that you're going to pay when you buy the property. So that's that. So once you're pre-approved, we start working on writing the offer. And here are 3 things that you need to, or 5 things that you need to determine. Number 1, whether you want the property. That you have already gone through that entire exercise and figured out what type of property, what location, what type of schools, what type of lifestyle, and what is the price that you're looking at. Once that's done, number 2, you determine the price. So your realtor can help you with what you should be paying as a right kind of a price. So that is called as doing the comparables. You can do comparables too. Look at Zillow, Redfin. Those are the tools that you get for free, right? Or your local MLS, and see what recently sold in that area within that particular bracket of parameters. You cannot compare a 8,000 square feet house to a 2,000 square feet home. You cannot compare 1,800 square feet house to a 800 square feet house even. So you have to know how to compare and contrast these properties depending on their condition, depending on their location, depending on what's coming into that area in terms of income and everything. The number 2 thing that you need to do is look at the disclosures of the property. The sellers are supposed to disclose everything about the property that you are supposed to know when you get the property. So say they lived in the property for 25 years, they should be telling you everything about the property. And that's what is called as disclosures. They even include inspections. Once all that is done, you have reviewed everything, and if you feel comfortable after talking to your agent, and if there is work needed in the property, if you pulled contractors in and you think the numbers are looking good, then the next item is to do contingencies. So here are the rules about contingencies. There are 5 contingencies that you can put. Number 1, contingency, there are multiple of those, but 5 are major. Number 1, your loan contingency or mortgage contingency, whether you are going to get a mortgage or not. That's number 1. Appraisal, whether the property will appraise or not to the price at which you are offering to buy the property. That's number 2. Number 3, property inspection or property condition contingency. So if the property is not in a good shape, you will be able to back out in that case. In competitive markets, none of the contingencies hold true, but this one doesn't hold true at all. Number 4, contingency on the sale of your previous property. Now, if you're doing an investment property, that contingency does not matter. And most people, I was just talking to one of my friends, and he said, I'm not buying, I got one offer, and that was having a contingency on sale of property, and I'm not touching that offer. Why would I take an offer that has contingency on sale of property? Because if that property doesn't sell, mine doesn't sell, and I'm there sitting around. And so that's the worst contingency that most people do not like. Apart from that, you could have if there is an HOA, some people will have the HOA docs don't come in time, and so it's very important that you have the HOA docs contingency also in your thing. Now, if you're sure that you can get a loan, if you have an underwriting approval, then you can get a loan. For sure, the only item is appraisal. If you think you offered below the competitive market price, you could take the appraisal contingency out. If you think the condition of the property makes sense, you can take that out. And if there is no HOA, of course don't write a contingency. And if you're not selling your own home before buying the other one, you don't need the sale of a home contingency. So this is how people go non-contingent. If you submit an offer with everything like this, and it shows strong, along with pre-approval and proof of funds and signed disclosures, typically you have a very good chance of getting the property in contract. Let's submit it, and you got the property in contract. Congratulations. No, this is not when I call it as congratulations. I just say, guys, I'll congratulate when you get the keys. Everything in between, it's a lot of process, a lot of ifs and buts, and you got the chance to get this property. So when you get in contract, what I tell my clients is, great news, you're in contract. You put a hold on this property. And if that property is on hold with you, the seller cannot sell it to somebody else. And that is why this property is now under contract, meaning under your control, to do your due diligence, find your mortgage, appraisal, property inspection, and move on with the transaction. So the next step is to send a deposit and immediately order your own inspections. No matter what happens, do not skip the step of having inspections done for yourself, of your own. And you need to get trusted professionals for the inspections. So this is typically a 5 to 7 day process from the date that you got the offer accepted. And then once that's done, then you go on to the next step. The loan, the mortgage should have started the day you got into contract, because that's your time to shop around for the best possible rates on the market, the interest rates. Nobody gives you interest rates until you get a property in contract. And the moment you get a property in contract, those 1 or 2 days are extremely critical to get your rates locked. So if you lock the rates in the next 7 to 10 days, you get the appraisal, and in about 12 to 14 days, you get a full and final approval from the lender that your mortgage is approved. And that's when you get comfort that the property is actually yours. Once the mortgage is done, the lender and the title company will ask you to select how you want to hold the title. The best way is to work with an attorney and get a trust. And there are other options that you can probably use in the internet. Work with your title company and your attorney to select one of those options. Google up title investing in California. That will probably do the trick. Once all this is done, the lender goes behind, starts working on your documents for the loan documentation. They prepare their loan documents. They send those to the title company. They all come together and they work the exact numbers for your closing. And once those exact numbers are worked out, they take these numbers and prepare your closing statements. There is a step called closing disclosure. The lender is supposed to disclose all their costs and what you're going to actually pay, and figure that out about 5 days before closing the transaction. And that is called as a closing disclosure. And the lender has to submit it to the buyer. And if the buyer agrees with that closing disclosure, then the title company will go put it together for the buyer's signatures. Once the buyer accepts, they can send it for recording. But there is one small step in between. The buyer is required to go walk into the property and see and make sure that it's in the same condition as the way it was when they offered. And if it is in a good condition, you will go and buy the property. You will go and tell the escrow that it's in acceptable condition. If there are issues, or if you ask the sellers to fix something after the buyer's inspections, then the lender is you're supposed to tell the title company to hold money until those problems or issues are fixed. That's the final step. Once that's all done, the property goes for recording to the county, and in the county, once it transfers on your name, the property is technically yours and you get the keys that day. Congratulations. So how much time does this typically take in California? About 30 days. Sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. The shortest is 3 days when you don't have a mortgage and you just go and pay full cash. I've seen those examples. The typical long is 45 days. And commercial transactions all depends on when and how they put it together. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll probably be including a lot of process related documents along with this. Don't miss those. That will give you a very good idea. Thanks for watching. I know it was long. See you on my next one. Thanks. Bye.